What came up for me was acknowledgement. And I think acknowledgement, it was not a part of my life. It wasn't a part of my family life. My parents probably weren't acknowledged a lot as a kid. By acknowledgement, I mean, hey, what a great job you did on that. Or, I notice I'm feeling just a lot of gratitude that you're in my life. I notice I'm feeling pride right now, just seeing the decision you made and how you got there. There just wasn't a lot of acknowledgement. Like my mom telling my dad, I'm so glad that I'm married to you. It doesn't happen. So acknowledgement and gratitude. I don't know why it came up as you were saying that, but if I could offer something to parents and to teachers, and I'm sure a lot of teachers and principals are already clear on that, and I assume it's a part of training now. I don't know that it was when I was a kid, but I don't think there could be too much of acknowledgement and appreciation. Hey, I'm so glad that you're around. I'm so glad to have you on the team as a teacher. That thing you did in assembly, that was genius. And calling it out in front of everybody, that was genius. I didn't feel like I had a lot of that growing up, and I was starved for it. And I think if there was one thing I could offer to educators and parents, again, who may already be doing it, I don't think there's such a thing as too much. It could be a daily practice. This is what I'm grateful for you, my child. This is what I'm grateful for you, my student, for you, my fellow teacher. It's changed my life. Being around teachers who've taught me and modeled for me, not at school, this didn't happen at school, but later in life, who've modeled for me what full acknowledgement looks like. Calling out someone in front of a group and just going deep into not even what they've done, but who they are and how they're showing up. That's a gift to the world. And I'm committed to more of it, giving more of it in my life. And I'd like to transmit it. I think the world could use a little more of it.
Yeah, I really like that. And you can just tell, can't you, that it connects on a way like no other. And like you said, interestingly, that you knew that you had it as a lack rather than something which you realized from when you were getting it coming to you, that kind of, oh yeah, this feels really good. But I think sometimes it's the lack of these things which you then sort of pick up afterwards as you start to go through. So I think that acknowledgement and all of those things which you can pinpoint in a certain way, because I think sometimes we get stuck in a rut of kind of, I must be grateful for this. So I'm going to write down so many things that I'm doing, and I must do this and I must do that because this is all going to make my life better, which is true because there is practice and there's putting these things in place, which does make a big difference. But there's nothing like that. I love what you said about sort of going deep, just that kind of, this is how I'm feeling now. And I know that actually by transmitting this and talking about it and putting it out and chatting to someone in a group about this, not because I had to or because it was part of my list of something I wanted to do today, but I can feel this is the time and this is the person that needs to get it right now. And I think that kind of authenticity is amazing.
Well, that would be ideal if it just was spontaneous and that's what it came up. But I'm a huge fan of fake it till you make it, and I'm a huge fan of structures. So if you need to put it in your phone, set an alarm, 4 o'clock each day, go and tell my kids something I appreciate about them. Do it. Use it. We are creatures of habit. I often relate human training to dog training. I try and train myself like I train my dog. I give myself a reward for something good I did, and maybe there's a consequence, something if I do something bad. So it's not natural for most of us. If you're Byron Katie, one of the teachers I follow, okay, she's just pure love. And she's like, how wonderful to see you, sweetheart. She's just pure love. Okay. But most of us aren't Byron Katie. So I say, fall back on any structure. If you've got a business, if you're a principal, you're running a school, build it into your meetings. Build it into your meetings that you are acknowledging people and calling them out. Build it into your meetings that they are acknowledging each other and calling each other out before we get to what needs to be corrected. build it into your daily practices with your family, with your partner. And then ultimately, maybe it will become more natural. It is a little more naturally. I don't want to make some grammar mistakes, on a podcast for teachers. My mother would be right on top of that. Eventually, I think it will be more natural that you'll be like, oh, your brain will go, that was really good that they did that. Oh, I didn't tell them. And then the next part you've got to get to, you know what? I'm going to reach out. I'm going to tell them. Thinking about this podcast as I was prepping for it, and I don't normally prep in my head, but I was thinking about a teacher at school who was so grounded and in his dignity and didn't get thrown by all the crap that we threw at him. We gave him a hard time. Mr. Fiveash, Philip Fiveash, Cessnock High School. I'm going to call him out publicly. He had every right to give us a hard time back and to give snide comments and to try and bring us down. And he never did. Other teachers did, and fair enough. He never did. He always treated us with respect. And 20 years after school, I tracked down his phone number and I called him at his home. And I said, this might surprise you, but this is David Wood. I don't know if you remember me. He said, are you kidding? And I said, I really want to acknowledge you. You had every right to try and bring us down and to push back and give us a hard time. You never once did it. I've got goosebumps right now. You treated us with respect, and that made a huge difference in my life. You modeled for me how to be grounded in the face of someone who's giving me a hard time. And I want to thank you for that. And anyone listening, if there's a teacher that made a difference for you and you feel like tracking them down and writing them a letter or sending them or calling them, I say do it. What a wonderful thing to do in the world.